Hello and welcome to Black Inventors and Innovators. I'm Kirk Wadi, and I wanted to say thank you for continuing to join in and watch us. Hit the like and subscribe button down at the bottom of the screen. All right, now I think a lot of times it's really easy for me and this generation to take advantage of people that we already know in society and their contributions to society, especially Black society or African American society. Now, I was posed a question today by a third grader, and it kind of caught me off guard. He asked me, would I consider doing something on Dr. Martin Luther King? Now, my thought is, he should know who that is. No, he probably doesn't. And there are probably a lot of people out there his age and younger or older, not much older than him, that don't know who people like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is. So let's talk really quick about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. There's so much about him that I couldn't cover it all in 2 or 3 minutes, so we'll just touch on the high points. Now, he was a civil rights leader. He was born he was born in the South. He was a preacher. Now, he got tired of segregation laws and Jim Crow laws of the South. Now, Jim Crow wasn't actually a person. Jim Crow was a made-up person that was made up by this minstrel, who was a person who would do these like racist dances to make fun of Black people. And he made up this character and he called him Jim Crow. So they had ridiculous laws in place, like Blacks couldn't be on the street after dark because you couldn't see them. They would commit crimes or silly things like that. And that came with the introduction of separate but equal laws. Now, you can see separate doesn't mean equal. They say, well, if it's a drinking fountain, it's a drinking fountain. It doesn't matter if your drinking fountain is filthy, it's equal. It's a drinking fountain. Or if you had to eat in the back of a restaurant on the porch, you have an area to eat while everybody was able to eat on the inside. That's separate, but it's equal. Yeah, but it's not fair. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. got tired of stuff like that, so he started organizing ways to fight against those laws in what we would call non-violent ways, through boycotting, saying we're not going to ride your bus, or we're not going to eat here, or we're not going to do this, we're not going to buy your products, to kind of break down those laws and break down those things. So he led a fight to get equal rights for people of color and Black people and people who were just being oppressed or bullied, for lack of a better word, by a society that was white and that was oppressive of them. He led the fight against that. He had more than 1 million people come to Washington to fight against that. And they were people of all colors and all races and all religions came together to fight against that. However, he was assassinated or killed in 1968. I happen to remember the day that it happened. I was just a little boy. I was riding somewhere in the car with my mother. I remember her countenance changed, and there was a bunch of things happening in the streets. People were running in the streets. We were in the car together. She pushed me down on the floor of the car, and she made me stay down. And I'm like, what happened? And what's going on? I didn't know. And she goes, Martin Luther King has just been killed. And I didn't really understand what was going on. But, however, the things that he did led us into big changes and more changes and more changes and more changes. And we're still making strides today for things that he did to lead the way to get us to where we're a more equal society. We still have a long ways to go, but he was the catalyst for change. He was one of the people that started it all. He's the person that we look to as the father of a movement for gaining rights and equality, especially for Black people. I'm Kirk Wadi. This has been Black Inventors and Innovators. Remember to like and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.